Have you ever wondered why some people reach the age of 100 with a smile on their face and others barely reach the age of 60, complaining about everything? The answer lies in your daily habits. Today, I am going to reveal 12 of these habits that could add decades to your life. Did you know that in Okinawa, Japan, there are more centenarians per 100,000 inhabitants than anywhere else in the world? It's not a coincidence. Its secrets are in these 12 habits. And don't worry, you won't have to move to a Japanese island to benefit from these secrets. We're also not going to talk about eating broccoli 3 times a day or exercising until you pass out. These are simple habits that anyone can incorporate, inspired by the blue zones of the world, those places where people live longer and better. The last habit will surprise you so much that you will want to start practicing it right away. So, are you ready to discover how to live a long and happy life? Before we begin, if you find value in these videos, please subscribe and click the bell to stay updated. Let us begin. The first habit on our list is so simple that you could be practicing it without realizing it. Have you ever thought that to be in shape, you need hours in the gym or running marathons? Well, get ready for a surprise that will change your mind. Let's talk about natural movement. Yes, that's simple. Okinawan centenarians don't have gym memberships, but they are in better shape than many city kids. Their secret? Move constantly throughout the day. Imagine that your body is like a car. If you leave it parked for a long time, it will rust. But if you use it regularly, even for short trips, it stays in good condition. This is how our body works. Okinawans incorporate movement into their daily lives in incredibly simple ways. They grow their own gardens, walk to run errands, and some even practice Tai Chi in parks. You don't need to do anything extravagant, just stay active. Did you know that just getting up from your chair every hour can increase your life expectancy? A University of California study found that people who move frequently during the day have a lower risk of premature death. Who knew something so simple could have so much impact? But don't worry, we're not saying you have to turn your office into a gym. Small changes can make a big difference. Try these ideas. 1. Park your car a little further from your destination and walk the rest. 2. Use the stairs instead of the elevator. 3. Dance while you do chores, bonus if you do it with loud music. 4. Make phone calls standing or walking. 5. Play with your children or pets in the park. The trick is to make movement a natural part of your day, not just another task on your to-do list. It's like adding spices to your food. A little here and there improves the whole flavor of your life. And here's the best part. Natural movement not only benefits your body, but also your mind. Studies have shown that regular exercise can improve your mood, reduce stress, and even boost your creativity. Who doesn't want to be happier and more creative? So the next time you feel guilty for not going to the gym, remember, every step counts. Every stretch, every impromptu dance in your kitchen, every game with your dog in the park. It all adds up to a longer, happier life. Natural movement is like a long-term investment, small daily deposits that accumulate over time to give you big profits. And the best thing is that you don't need special equipment or extraordinary skills, just your body and the will to stay active. Let's now go to the second habit. Find your Ikigai. Have you ever wondered what your reason for being is? That question that may seem overwhelming is actually the key to this second habit. Ikigai is not the name of a new sushi, although it does come from Japan. Ikigai is a Japanese concept that roughly translates to the reason for being, or the reason you get up every morning. It's that sweet spot where what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for intersect. But why is it so important? Well, it turns out that having a purpose not only makes you happier, it can also add years to your life. A study from Rush University in Chicago found that people with a strong sense of purpose were 15% less likely to die prematurely. Who knew that finding your passion could literally be a matter of life or death? Now, before you panic, thinking you need to discover the meaning of life before dinner, breathe. Finding your Ikigai doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, it's probably already there, waiting for you to discover it. I propose a quick exercise. Take a sheet of paper and draw 4 overlapping circles, like the Olympic rings, but with one less. In each circle write 1. What you love to do. 2. What you're good at. 3. What the world needs. 4. What they can pay you to do. Now, pause the video and come back when you've done it. I'll wait for you here. That's it? Great. Now, look where these circles intersect. That intersection could be your Ikigai. Maybe you will discover that you love cooking. You are good at it. The world needs healthy food and you can make money doing it. Boom. You just found a clue to your Ikigai. But don't worry if you don't find it right away. Ikigai is not something you discover overnight. It is more like a plant that you grow over time. Sometimes you just need to start doing things you love and see where they take you. Okinawans, those masters of longevity, have an Ikigai that goes beyond work. For some, it may be taking care of their grandchildren, for others practicing a traditional art. The important thing is that it gives them a reason to get up every morning with enthusiasm. And here comes the best part. Your Ikigai can change over time. You are not tied to one thing forever. As you grow and change, your purpose can evolve with you. It's like having multiple seasons in the series of your life, each with its own exciting theme. So the next time you find yourself stuck in a rut, ask yourself, what excites me? What makes me lose track of time? Those questions could be the first step towards your Ikigai. Remember, it's not about finding the greatest or most impressive purpose. It's about finding something that makes you feel alive and useful. It can be as simple as making someone smile every day, or as complex as solving climate change. The important thing is that it motivates you. Now we will address the third habit, reducing stress. Have you ever felt like your head is about to explode from stress? Don't worry, you are not alone. Stress is like that uncomfortable guest who arrives unannounced and stays longer than he should. But what if I told you there was a way to show him the exit door? Yes, I know what you're thinking. Easier said than done. But don't worry. We're not going to suggest you move to a cave in the Himalayas, although, let's face it, that sounds tempting at times. Chronic stress is like a silent thief that steals years of our lives. Studies have shown that prolonged stress can shorten telomeres, those little caps at the ends of our chromosomes that protect our DNA. When telomeres shorten, our cells age faster. It's as if stress puts the accelerator on our biological clock. But not all is lost. Blue zones, those places in the world where people live longer and healthier, have a few tricks up their sleeves to keep stress at bay. And no, it doesn't mean taking a permanent vacation on a tropical beach, although that's not a bad idea either. In Okinawa, for example, they practice something called Tai Chi or Qi Kung. Imagine slow, fluid movements that look like a dance in slow motion. It may seem funny at first, but it is incredibly effective at calming the mind and relaxing the body. On the island of Icaria in Greece, they have an even more surprising technique, the nap. Yes, you read it right. Taking a short nap after lunch is not only acceptable, it's almost mandatory. It's like they had a reset button built into their day. Now, before you start planning to move to Greece, not a bad idea, let me share with you some techniques that you can apply without having to pack your bags. 1. Mindful breathing. Take a few minutes each day to focus on your breathing. Inhale deeply through your nose for a count of 4, hold for 4 seconds, and exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 8. It's like giving your nervous system a massage. 2. Connect with nature. Spend time outdoors. Walk barefoot on the grass. Hug a tree if you dare. Yes, it sounds like a hippie cliche, but it works. Nature has an amazing calming effect on our brain. 3. Practice gratitude. Before you go to sleep, think of 3 things you are grateful for that day. It can be something as simple as the coffee was delicious this morning. It's like putting rose-colored glasses on your mind. 4. Unplug. Turn off your electronic devices at least an hour before bed. Social media will be there tomorrow, I promise. Remember, reducing stress is not about eliminating all the problems in your life. I wish it were that easy. It's about changing your relationship with them. It's like learning to surf instead of fighting the waves. And who knows, maybe over time you will become an expert at weathering the waves of stress. Habit number 4, the 80% rule. This concept, known in Okinawa as hara-hachi-bu, is so simple that you could start practicing it with your next meal. But what exactly does it mean? Imagine that your stomach is like a gas tank. Okinawans, those masters of longevity, have the habit of filling their tank only up to 80%. That is, they stop eating when they feel they are satisfied, but not completely full. Now, before you start calculating percentages on your plate, let me explain why this is so important. It turns out that it takes our body about 20 minutes to send the satiety signal to the brain. When we eat until we feel full, we are actually exceeding our needs. But what benefits does this have? Well, eating less not only helps maintain a healthy weight, but also reduces stress on our digestive system. It's like giving your body a break so it can focus on other important tasks, like repairing cells and fighting aging. Studies have shown that moderate calorie restriction can increase longevity and reduce the risk of chronic diseases. It's as if by eating less, we give our bodies the opportunity to function more efficiently. Now, implementing this rule doesn't have to be complicated. Here are some practical tricks. 1. Use smaller plates. It's a visual trick, but it works. A full small plate will make you feel like you are eating more. 2. Eat slower. Enjoy every bite. Chew well and take breaks between bites. This will give you time to recognize when you are satisfied. 3. Drink water before meals. A glass of water about 30 minutes before eating can help you feel fuller with less food. 4. Listen to your body. Learn to recognize the difference between being satisfied and being full. Satisfaction is that point where you are no longer hungry, but you could eat more if you wanted to. 5. Eat without distractions. Turn off the TV, put down your phone, and focus on your food. You will be more aware of how much you eat, and you will enjoy it more. Remember, it's not about starving. The idea is to eat enough to nourish you and feel satisfied, but not to the point that you feel uncomfortable or overly full. And here's a curious fact. In ancient Rome, there was the figure of the whisperer. His job was to stand behind diners at banquets and whisper to them not to eat too much. Imagine having someone constantly reminding you not to overdo it. Luckily, you don't need a whisperer to practice hara hachibu. With a little attention and practice, you can make this habit a natural part of your daily routine. And who knows, you might find that eating less makes you feel lighter, more energetic, and, in the long run, healthier. Before moving on to the 5th habit, if you are liking the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel with the bell so you don't miss future videos. And if you enjoy this type of content as much as I do, comment, "I love knowledge," along with your age. Let's continue learning together and improving our lives. Habit number 5. Let's talk about meditation. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Meditation? Isn't that just for monks and hippies? But let me tell you, this habit is more powerful than a double coffee on a Monday morning. Meditation is like a gym for your mind. Imagine being able to train your brain to stop spinning like a hamster in its wheel. Sounds good, right? Well, that's exactly what meditation does. And best of all, you don't need special equipment or an expensive subscription. Just you, your breathing, and a few minutes a day. But don't be scared, you don't need to become a Tibetan monk or shave your head. Just a few minutes a day is enough to calm that mind of yours that sometimes seems like a monkey with maracas. Can you imagine being able to turn off that mental chatter that doesn't leave you alone? Well, meditation is like the mute button for that internal noise. And before you think this is too new age for you, let me tell you a secret. Some of the most successful people in the world practice meditation. Did you know that even Steve Jobs himself meditated? Yes, the genius behind Apple found time in his busy schedule to sit down and just breathe. And look how far he went with his apples. But Steve Jobs is not the only one. Oprah Winfrey, Hugh Jackman, and even athletes like Kobe Bryant have attributed part of their success to regular meditation practice. Coincidence? I don't believe it. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I don't have time to sit and do nothing. Well, what if I told you that with just 5 minutes a day, you could start seeing results? Yes, you heard right. 5 minutes. That is less time than you spend scrolling through Instagram while you're in the bathroom. Don't play innocent. We all do it. Meditation doesn't just help you relax. It also improves your concentration, reduces stress, and according to some studies, might even help you sleep better. It's like a multivitamin for your brain, but without the gross taste. And the best of all is that you can start today. You don't need a fancy app or a special cushion or even a quiet place. You can meditate on the bus, at your desk, or even while you wait for your coffee to cool a little so you don't burn your tongue again. So here's a challenge for you. Tomorrow, when you wake up, before you grab your phone and dive into the chaos of the day, take 5 minutes, sit comfortably, close your eyes, and simply focus on your breathing. Inhale, exhale. That's all. If your mind starts to wander, and it will, trust me, simply refocus on your breathing. It sounds easy? Well, I warn you that it can be a little frustrating at first. Your mind will try to convince you that you have 1,000 more important things to do. But resist. Over time, I promise it will get easier. Habit number 6, sleep well. Have you ever thought that the key to living longer could be hidden under your sheets? Welcome to the wonderful world of restful sleep. No, we're not talking about becoming Sleeping Beauty, but almost. It turns out that the centenarians of the blue zones do not stay up late watching series until the wee hours of the morning. They understand that a good rest is as important as a good diet. But why is good sleep so crucial? Well, imagine that your body is like a factory. During the day, everything is running at full speed, but at night, that's when maintenance is done. If you don't give enough time for this process, it is as if you were driving a car without ever changing the oil. The result? A mechanical disaster, or in our case, a biological disaster. The famous psychologist William James once said, "The art of being wise is the art of knowing what to overlook." And it turns out that staying up all night is definitely something we should overlook. Now, how can we improve our sleep without resorting to counting sheep all night? Here are some tricks that even Morpheus would approve. 1. Establish a sleep schedule. Your body loves routine. Go to bed and get up at the same time every day, even on weekends. Yes, I know it sounds boring, but your body will thank you. 2. Create a nightly ritual. It can be reading a book, meditating, or even doing gentle stretches. It's like giving your brain a time to sleep buddy signal. 3. Turn your bedroom into a cave. Dark, cool, and quiet. If you can make your room look more like a bear cave than a nightclub, you're on the right track. 4. Avoid screens before bed. The blue light from electronic devices is like coffee for your brain. Unless you want your brain to party all night, turn off those devices. 5. Be careful with the nap. A short nap can be refreshing, but if you go too long, it is like stealing hours from the night. Keep your naps under 30 minutes. Remember, sleeping well is not a luxury, it is a necessity. So the next time someone tells you that you're wasting your time sleeping, you can tell them that you're investing in your longevity. Who knew being lazy could be so healthy? Habit number 7, plant-based diet. Have you ever thought that the fountain of youth could be on your plate? Well, hold on, because our 5th habit is going to make you rethink your relationship with food. Ready to give your life a green turn? No, we are not talking about turning into a giant rabbit, but about learning from our friends in the blue zones who seem to have discovered the secret to outwit time. In these regions of the world where people live longer and better, the typical dish is more like a vegetable rainbow than a carnivorous feast. Coincidence? I don't believe it. Studies have shown that a diet rich in plants can reduce the risk of chronic diseases and increase longevity. It's as if every bite of vegetables were a small shield against aging. But don't panic, we're not suggesting you become a broccoli hermit. The key is balance. The inhabitants of the blue zones follow a diet that is approximately 95% vegetables. The other 5%? Well, let's just say it's to keep your sanity and maybe enjoy the occasional barbecue. Now, before you start thinking this sounds more boring than a marathon of documentaries about paint drying, let me tell you something interesting. Did you know that the Greek philosopher Pythagoras, in addition to being a mathematical genius, was a fervent defender of a vegetarian diet? Yes, the same guy who made you suffer in school with his theorem also believed that eating meat clouded the mind. Maybe therein lies the secret of his brilliance. But let's go back to the present. Incorporating more plants into your diet doesn't have to be a Herculean task. Here are some ideas so simple that even your cactus could follow them. 1. Start with Meatless Monday. One day a week, Make your meals 100% plant-based. It's like a mini vacation for your digestive system. 2. Try adding an extra vegetable to each meal. 3. Make a change to your snacks. Swap the chips for hummus with carrot sticks. Your palate and your waistline will thank you. 4. Experiment with plant-based milks. There are so many options that you could make an advent calendar with them. 5. Adopt the colorful plate philosophy. The more colors your plate has, the more nutrients you will be consuming. It's like painting a picture but edible. Remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about making small changes that add up. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, it is not things that disturb us, but our opinion of them. So, instead of seeing vegetables as a punishment, how about we see them as a ticket to a longer, healthier life? So next time you're at the supermarket, take a look at the produce section. Who knows, you might find your next source of superpowers hidden among the spinach and tomatoes. Are you ready to add color to your life and years to your calendar? Habit number 8, wine and friends. In the blue zones, those regions of the world where people seem to have discovered the fountain of youth, wine is not just a drink, it is part of a social ritual. A ritual that, surprisingly, could be adding years to their lives. But before you rush to open that bottle you've been saving, let's explore why. It turns out that moderate wine consumption, especially red wine, can have health benefits. The antioxidants present in wine, such as resveratrol, have been associated with better cardiovascular health and greater longevity. However, the key word here is moderate. We're talking about 1 or 2 drinks a day, not emptying the cellar every night. As Paracelsus, the father of toxicology, said, "The dose makes the poison." In other words, the difference between a remedy and a poison is the quantity, but wine is only half of the equation. The other half, and perhaps the most important, is social connections. In the blue zones, wine is not drunk alone in front of the television. It is enjoyed in company as part of a shared meal or a lively conversation with friends and family. Did you know that having strong social connections can be as beneficial to your health as quitting smoking? Studies have shown that people with strong social relationships are 50% more likely to live longer than those with weak relationships. It's as if every laugh shared, every story told, every moment of connection is a small deposit into your longevity savings account. So, how can we incorporate this habit into our lives in a healthy way? Here are some ideas. 1. Host regular dinners with friends or family. They don't have to be elaborate. The important thing is the company. 2. Join a dance club or any group that shares your interests. It's a great way to meet new people and keep your mind active. 3. If you decide to drink wine, do it with food and in company. Enjoy the flavor and the conversation, not the effect of the alcohol. 4. Practice the art of the after-dinner meal. Stay a little longer at the table after eating, chatting, and enjoying each other's company. 5. If you don't drink alcohol, don't worry. The important thing is the social connection, not the wine itself. A tea, a must, or a juice can fulfill the same social function. Remember, it's not about turning every meeting into a party, but rather cultivating meaningful connections and enjoying the small pleasures of life together. So the next time you find yourself with a glass of wine in your hand, surrounded by friends, remember that you could be participating in one of humanity's oldest and healthiest rituals. Who knew something so pleasurable could also be so good for you? Health and long life, friends. Habit number 9, the practice of generosity. Have you ever thought that giving could be the key to receiving more from life? No, we are not talking about emptying your wallet at every corner, but about something much deeper and transformative. The ancient Stoics, those bearded philosophers who seemed to have an answer for everything, already knew this. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, wrote, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee." In other words, what you give to others, you give to yourself. But it's not just philosophers who say it. Modern science agrees. A University of California study found that people who practice generosity regularly have lower levels of the stress hormone cortisol. It's as if each act of kindness is a little massage for your nervous system. Now, before you start thinking that you need to be Bill Gates to be generous, let me tell you a secret. Generosity is not measured in dollars but in intention. It can be as simple as giving a smile, yes, even with a mask it shows in your eyes, helping a neighbor with their shopping, or simply listening to a friend in need. What if I told you that being generous could make you richer? No, I haven't lost my mind. A study from the University of Notre Dame found that generous people tend to be more successful in their careers. It's as if the universe has a financial karma system. So are you ready to put this revolutionary habit into practice? Remember, it's not about how much you give, but the intention behind your actions. And who knows, maybe you'll discover that true wealth isn't in your bank account, but in the smiles you bring and the lives you live, you touch. Habit number 10, reading. Yes, what seemed like a punishment to you as a child could now be your ticket to immortality. Well, almost. It turns out that bookworms have an advantage over the rest of us. Recent studies have shown that adults who read regularly live on average 2 years longer than those who don't. 2 years. Imagine everything you could do with that extra time. You could finally learn to juggle or watch all the seasons of that show you've been putting off. But reading not only lengthens your life, it also enriches it. As the great Jorge Luis Borges said, "I always imagined that paradise would be some kind of library." And he was not wrong. Reading is like traveling without leaving the couch. It is living 1,000 lives in one. Now don't be scared. You don't have to become a scholar overnight. Getting started is as easy as opening a book. Do you remember that book you use as a paperweight? Yes, that same one. It's time to dust it off and give it a try. And if you think you don't have time to read, think twice. Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors in the world, spends 80% of his day reading. If he can do it while managing a financial empire, you can do it between episodes of your favorite series. Reading is not only a hobby, it is a workout for your brain. It's like going to the gym, but instead of lifting weights, you're lifting ideas. And the best thing is that you don't need sportswear or an expensive subscription. So now you know, if you want to live longer and better, add reading to your daily routine. Start with just 15 minutes a day. It could be before bed, during your commute, or while you're waiting for your food to cook. Little by little, you will notice how your mind expands, your vocabulary improves, and who knows, maybe you will even become the life of the parties with all the interesting stories you will have to tell. Remember, every page you read is one more step toward a longer, more fulfilling life. As the philosopher Seneca once said, "Reading feeds the soul." So, what are you waiting for? The next chapter of your life is literally waiting for you in the pages of a good book. Habit number 11. Get out of your comfort zone. Imagine your comfort zone as a comfortable and cozy bubble. Sounds good, right? But here's the kicker. Inside that bubble, there is no growth. It's like trying to build muscle without lifting weights. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "We dare not do many things because they are difficult, but they are difficult because we dare not do them." Boom. There you have it. The secret to overcoming fear is to face it. It's like when you were afraid of the monster as a child. Closet until your mum opened it and it turned out to be just a pile of crumpled clothes. But don't worry, we're not talking about parachuting out of a plane, unless you want to, of course. We start with small steps. How about today you try that exotic dish you've always wanted to try? Or better yet, how about talking to that neighbor you always run into but have never said hello to? Who knows, it could be the start of a great friendship, or at least you'll have a fun story to tell. Psychology tells us that every time we do something that scares us a little, our brain releases dopamine. It's like a mini adrenaline rush, but without having to run for your life from a bear. And the best thing is that with every little challenge you overcome, your confidence grows. It's like leveling up in a video game, but in real life. A University of Texas study found that people who regularly step out of their comfort zone report higher levels of life satisfaction. You see, science backs up what we are saying. It's not just motivational talk, it's pure and simple biology. So the next time you find yourself hesitating to do something new, remember the words of the great philosopher Nike, "Just do it." Or as your grandmother would say, "He who does not risk does not win." And if everything goes wrong, well, at least you'll have a good story to tell at the next family gathering. Remember, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. So get out there, and do something that scares you a little every day. Who knows, you might discover a new talent, make a new friend, or simply realize that you're braver than you thought. And that, my friend, is worth more than all the gold in the world. Habit number 12. Disconnect from technology. Have you ever felt like your phone is like a magnet and you're a piece of metal? Yes, I know what you're thinking. How will I survive without my precious smartphone? But don't worry, I'm not asking you to throw it out the window. Although the idea is tempting, right? Look, even the greatest thinkers in history understood the importance of disconnecting, and they didn't have to deal with Instagram notifications every 5 minutes. The Roman philosopher Seneca said, "We must give our minds rest so that they can return to thinking stronger. And believe me, your mind will thank you." Now, I confess something to you. I myself cannot completely disconnect. These videos that I make on YouTube to help you require technology, and I do it with pleasure. But I'll tell you a secret. Those days on the beach with friends or family, without looking at your phone, are like an oasis in the digital desert. They remind you that there is a world beyond the screen, and it's great. Okay, but what do modern experts say? Well, it turns out that a study from the University of California discovered that just being near your phone, even if it is turned off, reduces your cognitive ability. It's like your brain is in call-waiting mode constantly. Can you imagine living like this? It's like having a very noisy roommate, but in your head. So how do we start to disconnect? Don't panic, you don't have to become a technology hermit overnight. Start with small steps. How about leaving your phone in another room during meals? Or try having a digital curfew an hour before bed. Your sleep will improve, and who knows, you might even rediscover the pleasure of reading a paper book. And if you need extra motivation, think about this. Psychologist Adam Alter says that the time we spend on screens is directly related to our unhappiness. Do you want to be happier? You already know what to do. Let's now go to the last habit. Have you ever wondered why children laugh about 300 times a day while adults barely reach 20? It seems that we have forgotten the art of laughing, don't you think? Well, get ready, because our latest habit is just that, laughing. Yes, you heard right. Laughter is not just fun, it is a powerful tool for your well-being. Did you know that the philosopher Epictetus once said, "If you want to be happy, be..." Well, I would add, if you want to be happy, laugh. But don't just believe me. Science backs this up. Studies have shown that laughter reduces stress, improves the immune system, and can even relieve pain. It's like a gym for your soul, but without the sweat and soreness. So here's a challenge. Try to find something funny in your daily life. Maybe it's that dog with the weird hairstyle you saw on the street, or maybe it's the face you make when you try to open a particularly stubborn pickle jar. Humor is everywhere, you just have to look for it. And if all else fails, you can always resort to one of my bad jokes. Why do divers jump into the water with their backs? Because if they pulled forward, they would fall into the ship. My jokes are getting worse, I know. Well, that's it. Now, you might think that all of these habits are like separate ingredients in your kitchen, but the magic happens when you combine them. It's like making a secret recipe for longevity. Restful sleep gives you energy to maintain your routine. A stable routine gives you space for play and laughter. Laughing and playing helps you find your purpose, and having a purpose motivates you to slow down and enjoy the journey. These habits reinforce each other like musicians in an orchestra. Each one has their role, but together they create a symphony of well-being. The end result is more than the sum of its parts. It is a longer, happier, more fulfilled life. So the next time you're tempted to stay up late, skip your routine, or take life too seriously, remember these habits. They are not strict rules, but invitations to live in a way that has worked for generations in the Blue Zones. Ready to incorporate these secrets into your life? You don't have to do it all at once. Start with small steps. Maybe today you decide to go to bed half an hour earlier, or spend 5 minutes laughing with a friend. Remember, the path to a longer, happier life is not a race, it's a dance. And now you have all the steps to dance it your way. If you've made it this far, write "long and happy life" in the comments, so I'll know who the victors are who made it to the end of the video. I can't wait to hear your stories of triumph, so like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I hope to continue creating more content like this in the future, so if you want to support the channel financially, you can become a member and enjoy the benefits. The link is in the posted comment. Now I recommend you watch these 2 videos here, so that you continue learning about Stoicism and human psychology. See you in the next video.